Hello everyone, Mr. Lipchick here, and our discussion today is going to be about the structure and principles of the Constitution. First, a little bit about the structure of the Constitution. There is the preamble, which is the introduction which states why the Constitution is being written. The preamble for the U.S. Constitution is as follows. To form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. The Constitution contains seven articles. The first three articles create the three branches of our national government. Article 1 establishes the legislative branch. Section 1 of this article creates the U.S. Congress. Sections 2 and 3 give details about the House of Representatives and the Senate, our bicameral legislature. Lists of procedures for making laws are contained within, and it lists the types of laws that Congress can make. And it specifies the powers that Congress does not have. Article 2 creates the executive branch, that is the presidency and the offices associated with it. The executive branch carries out or executes the laws created by Congress. It states the executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. It lists the powers and duties of the President, and it gives qualifications needed to be elected President. It lists the procedures for electing the President and the Vice President. Article 3 establishes a Supreme Court. Section 1 establishes the Supreme Court as the head of the judicial branch of government. Section 2 outlines the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, that is, what cases it can hear. And Section 3 defines treason against the United States. Treason is basically a betrayal of your country. Article 4 defines the relationship of the states to each other and to the national government. Each state must give the citizens of other states the same rights as its own. It discusses the admission of new states into the Union. It guarantees the federal government will protect the states against invasion or domestic violence. Article 5 explains the process for amending or changing the Constitution. The Constitution is an evolving document, that is, it changes over time. The Founding Fathers who wrote it understood that times would change, and there would be a need to alter the Constitution from time to time. It is not easy to change the Constitution. Large numbers of elected officials must agree to it. And by allowing change over time, the writers of the Constitution ensured that it would last. Article 6 establishes the Supremacy Clause. It establishes that the Constitution, laws passed by Congress, and treaties of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. In other words, all state laws and local laws are subordinate to the federal laws and Constitution. Article 7 addresses ratification, states that the Constitution will be ratified when it is passed by 9 states of the original 13 states of the United States. Amendments to the Constitution. The Constitution contains 27 changes or amendments, which reflects how difficult it is to amend the Constitution. These were enacted at different times in history so that the government could remain responsive to the changing needs of the people. Major principles of the Constitution. Popular sovereignty. People are the source of government power. Sovereign means king. Popular sovereignty means the people are the king or the ruler. Federalism. Power is divided between the national and state governments. Separation of powers. Each branch of government has its own set of responsibilities. Checks and balances. Each branch of government would exercise some control over the others. Examples of checks and balances. The President can veto or not approve legislation passed by Congress. Congress needs to vote 2/3 in favor of the legislation to override the veto. The federal court system can rule legislation to be unconstitutional and therefore invalid. The President checks judicial power by appointing federal judges. And the system of checks and balances ensures that no single branch gains too much power. Judicial review. Judicial review is defined as the federal courts can rule national, state, or local laws invalid because they violate the Constitution. That is the process of judicial review. The Supreme Court is the final authority for judicial review. That is, it has the final say on these cases. Article 3 states the judicial power shall extend to all cases arising under this Constitution. Marbury v. Madison in 1803 established the power of the federal courts to rule on the decisions of government. The principle of limited government is an important part of the Constitution. The Constitution limits the power of government by specifically listing the powers that it does and does not have. This allows government to function while protecting individual liberties against unreasonable government actions. That concludes our discussion on the structure and principles of the Constitution. Thank you for attending, and I look forward to seeing you in the live lessons. Have a great day.